Hey guys, welcome to Bridie Bakes. Mother's Day is coming up, so today I'm going to take you through how to make a gorgeous cookie cake for your mum as something really special. The brilliant thing about this style cake is that they are super customizable, so you can do whatever size and shape and fillings and decorations you want, so you can really make it your own. So I'm going to do a nice heart today, but you can do an M for mum, you can do little ones and spell out her name, it's really up to you. So I'm going to be using like a honey cookie cake that's almost like a cross between a cookie and a cake. So it's perfect for these. And I'm also using a cheesecake style filling today, but you can really have a play around with what you use. So you can use sugar cookies or cakes and for the filling you could try buttercream or chocolate ganache or even like a really thick custard. But I'm going to leave the recipes that I use today down in the description below so you can check them out if you want. Once you've decided on your base layers and your filling, you'll also need a piping bag with a nozzle. I'm using a round nozzle today, but you can just as easily use a star nozzle, especially with ganache, that'll hold up really nicely and look gorgeous. And lastly, you'll need your decorations. So you've already had so much choice with this, but this is where you really get to go crazy. Definitely think about your mum's favorite things for this, not yours. So if she loves chocolate, you could go with a chocolate overload style, with chocolate ganache and Maltesers and Oreos. I'm keeping it really pretty today. I've got some edible flowers, some macarons, some strawberries, a little bit of crushed meringue and some sprinkles as well. So to get started, the first thing we want to do is stick our cookie or whatever we're using to our board or plate. I'm going to use a little bit of my filling for this. We're going to chuck it in the fridge later and make sure it all sets up nicely. If you want to make sure it's really stuck to the board, chocolate ganache is probably your best bet as it's going to set really hard. So just grabbing our piping bag and putting a little bit onto our board. But you can also pipe it onto the back of the cookie as well if that's easier. Now pop that on, center it up and press it down nice and firmly. So that is all nicely stuck on like that. Now that we've got that stuck down, our next step is the filling. You want to try and pipe fairly close to the edge, but not right on it, because when we put our next layer on, everything's going to squish down and out a little bit. I also like to pipe around the outside first, because that's the bit that's going to be seen, so we want that to be really neat, and then we can fill in the middle however we want. But this is a really good chance to practice your piping because we're pretty much going to be doing the same thing on the top layer, but that'll be a little bit more visible. So if you get it right here, you're going to nail it on the top. Okay, so just grab your piping bag and start piping. You want to try and make sure all your little blobs are fairly similar in size. Now the other thing you can do once you've done around the outside is you can actually put different fillings in the middle as well. So thinner things and runnier things that wouldn't be good just by themselves, but you can chuck in some lemon curd or some caramel, or even just drizzle it across the top once you're done. I'm just going to keep filling this in with my cheesecake filling though, because that is delicious and I don't really think it needs any extras today. So I like to just keep going around in layers. I find that's the best way to get a nice even look. There we go. Now, like I said, this layer doesn't have to be perfect, but it is really good practice for the next one. Now that this is all piped, we can pop our top layer on. You want to be gentle and make sure everything is nice and lined up before you push down, and then just gently press it to make sure it all sticks together. So grab our top layer, really gently line it up, and press down. And now I'm going to repeat what I've just done, trying to keep my blobs nice and even and trying to make sure there's not too many gaps either. You can get a little bit closer to the edge this time because there's nothing else that's going to be squishing down on top apart from your decorations. So when you're piping, you just want to try and make sure that you're holding it up vertically. Do a little burst of pressure, and then take the pressure off and pull up and away. And don't stress if you have left any gaps or anything. You can go back and fill them in with a little bit extra filling if you want, or you can use your decorations to kind of cover up bits that don't look quite so perfect. So now it is time to decorate. Now you can use pretty much anything you want, but one tip when you're decorating is to try and go in with your bigger things first, so that then you can work around them instead of trying to have to squeeze them into a space later. And I usually try and go for quite a random look for these, so I don't want to have everything lined up and in rows. I want everything kind of all over the place, pointing in different directions and a little bit scattered looking. So I'm going to start with my macarons, grabbing them. Definitely use them to cover up any spots that don't quite look so good. And just all different directions. I'll do 3 for now. I can always go in and add more if I need. Now the strawberries. And my edible flowers. Now just remember that you don't have to get it perfect first time off. You can hold things over if you want, have a look, see if they look good. Even if you've popped something down, you can always take it off and put something else there instead. Pop on another strawberry and back in with some more edible flowers. Now with these, just make sure that they are, first of all, an edible species of flower, and also grown organically, so you don't want pesticides or herbicides or anything making anyone sick. I've also got some petals that I'm using as well, so not just the whole flowers. And the last thing I'm going to do is go in with some kind of sprinkle just to fill in the gaps and finish it off. So you can use sprinkles, or I've got some crushed up meringues. You can use freeze-dried raspberries or anything like that. So I've got my sprinkles first. And then finishing it off with some meringue. And there we have our gorgeous Mother's Day cookie cake. Now, last couple of tips for this style cake. Definitely try and pop your decorations on as close to when you're going to serve it as you can, especially with things like macarons and meringues. They tend to go soggy fairly quickly, and your fruits and flowers can kind of dry and wilt a little bit. So you just want it looking as fresh as possible. Also, just have a think when you are choosing your base and fillings, and make sure that it's going to stand up to the weight. So a gorgeous, light, lovely pastry is going to be absolutely delicious with maybe a meringue filling and some lemon curd, but that's probably not going to work quite as well if you're using a really dense, heavy mud cake. So just something to have a think about. So have fun experimenting and putting your own spin on these. And if you found this video helpful, I'd love you to subscribe to my channel so you can check out all my other videos too.